Hey, this is Jay with Sakred Gaming, bringing you some Black Ops 3 action. I'm not going to talk about this gameplay at all. Instead, I wanted to talk to you guys and gals about something that I have really struggled with in the past. And if I'm honest, it's something that still creeps its way into my life, and I still kind of struggle with it at times today. And that is of the topic envy. Now, what is envy? Envy is kind of like where you look at somebody else's life and you kind of resent what that person has. And in the process, you compare it to what you have, and it makes you unhappy or uncontent about what you have. And there's some, real ramifications that come from that. So we live in an age, though, that I think envy is even heightened more, or kind of encouraged more, or we're more exposed to it, I guess, just because of social media and technology. I mean, think about it. You go on Facebook and you see everything that everybody else has. It's great. Facebook is great. It lets you keep in touch with your family and friends, and even things like YouTube. I'm able to reach out to people around the world and talk to them and make cool friends and everything like that. But in the process, I'm kind of exposed, and you're exposed to a lot of things, and there's a lot of comparison that ends up happening. Think about the big YouTubers, right? When I watch their videos and they're showing off their brand new car that they just bought, yeah, it makes me kind of resent what they have. It makes me jealous of what they have. And I look at my own vehicle and I'm like, man, I'm rocking a 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix GTP, and I'm thinking, oh man, this car is so old. It just makes me resent them and envious of what they have. I know YouTubers do gaming setup videos. I've even done gaming setup videos, and we look at these things and we kind of compare it to what we have. And unfortunately, sometimes it makes us unhappy. It makes us uncontent with what we have. So we have to keep in mind, though, that in social media, people are putting out the best of themselves. It's like the highlight reel, right? They don't put out pictures where they look crappy. Everybody puts out the pictures where they're looking the best. It's kind of like me and YouTube. You guys only see the videos where I go positive and actually do somewhat decent. I'm not the best player or anything like that, but you don't see the games where I go negative. You see what I want to see, and it's the same in social media. You see the highlight reel. You see everybody's best. You don't see the pictures with the zits. You see the pictures that have been photoshopped, and it just happens to be the right angle for that person, and they just look really good. And yet that's what we compare our everyday life with, our everyday image of ourselves with, these ultimate, highlight reels. And unfortunately, when we compare that stuff, we end up feeling bad about ourselves. There was a study that was done on Facebook, and it looked at a bunch of college age students that were using and on Facebook a large amount of time, and it found that a third of them, after spending a large amount of time on Facebook, were coming away feeling worse about themselves and feeling bad about themselves. And the number one emotion that these people were citing was because of envy. They were looking at the highlight reel. They were seeing their friends who were getting married, and maybe they weren't even dating anybody, or their friends who were going on vacation and they never go on vacation, or maybe their friend who's able to grow a great beard and they're not able to grow a great beard, or they got a new vehicle and they're still stuck with that 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix while their friends are driving the Cadillac Escalade or something like that. It all comes from comparison. Now, let me give you an example from my own life where I really learned about envy, and that was actually through YouTube. Back, way back in the day when I started my YouTube channel early on, I actually had a couple of friends, and one of my friends early on got a shout out from Thunder, and their channel lit up. I saw a lot of good action. They were getting a lot of people talking to them and everything like that, and I was jealous of that. They got a lot of views, they got a lot of interaction, and I was like, man, why can't I do that? And I started looking at their gameplay, and I'm thinking, man, they're just a really good player, and I'm just a basic average player. If you know what I'm talking about, because if you watch my videos, you're not coming here because I'm dropping nuclears or anything like that. But I started to compare myself with that person. And then another one of my friends at the same time, just about, they actually got a shout out, or actually Nadeshot liked one of their videos. And all of a sudden their channel started to explode, and they ended up passing me up like I was standing still. And I was thinking, man, here I am putting in all this hard work, and they hadn't even been uploading that much, and yet they get this like from Nate Shot, and then their channel just blows up. And by all means, they did a lot of hard work after that, but it was tough for me to take. I became, envious looking at all their success, all their numbers, and looking at my own. So, what did I have to do? That's what I want to talk to you. How do you get over envy? How do you deal with it? Now, before I get into that, let me share a verse with you, because I think this verse shows how serious envy is. And it comes from James 3:14-16. It says, "But if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. Such wisdom does not come down from heaven, but is earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice." So there's a lot of crap, there's a lot of garbage that comes out of envy. So you got to be really careful about it. All right, so how did I get over that envy with the other YouTubers? And let me give you this advice. I think step one is you got to kill the comparisons. You got to get away from it. What I did was I quit watching the numbers. I quit watching my friends' numbers. I quit watching my own numbers. It's funny now, people will say, "Hey, you're at this much," and everything like that. And I'll be like, "Oh, I am?" Because I really try not to look at my numbers, because I know if I do, I'm going to compare it to other people, and it's going to get me depressed, all right? So you got to quit the comparisons. Maybe for you, it's actually kind of like turning off somebody's social feed on Facebook. Maybe you're just kind of ignore their posts. Maybe you're going to get away from Facebook for a time. So you have to kill the comparisons. I think I went as far as taking a month off of YouTube, and it was in that month off of YouTube that I kind of learned the next phase that you have to move into. You got to get to the place where you actually celebrate what's happening to your friends, what's happening to other people. Maybe it's not people that you know, but a lot of times I think that we struggle with envy or envy the most with the people that we do know. So we got to get to a place where we celebrate what's happening to them. Romans 12:15 says, "Rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn." So if somebody's blessed with something, let's celebrate it. Maybe they get a new car, right? Or maybe they get the PS4, or maybe they get that darn nuclear medal and you're still struggling to get that nuclear medal. Thank God that God is blessing your friends, or that they got that promotion, or whatever it is. I think, sometimes if we're upset about the way God is blessing somebody else, that could be the very reason that God isn't blessing us. Think about that. I had to chew on that for a long time before I really got it. Well, once you get to a place where you really, truly can genuinely celebrate with other people, then I think you have to get to a place where you're just grateful for what you do have. You just thank God for what you do have. Let me give you an example. Right now, when I upload this Black Ops 3 videos, I'm probably going to get about 500 views on it. Back in the day when I was uploading these Life and Faith videos, they were usually all in the thousands, or Call of Duty videos in general, I'd usually get over 1,000 views. Now I'm not getting that. So if I were to compare even what happened before with what happened later, I could become really discouraged about that. But instead, I'm going to thank God for these 500 views. I'm going to thank God that I get to talk to 500 people about this subject. Maybe you only get 40 views on a video. Let's be grateful for the views that we are getting and just kind of go from there. Ecclesiastes 6:9 says, "Enjoy what you have rather than desiring what you don't have. Just dreaming about nice things is meaningless, like chasing after the winds." Let's be thankful for what we do have. Now, how in the world do you be thankful for what you do have when you see everything that everybody else has? How do you celebrate with other people when they don't deserve it, or you think that they don't deserve it and that you do deserve it? Or how do you do these other things? It comes from Paul's advice in Philippians 4:12-13 that says, "I know what it is to be in need. I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through Him who gives me strength." I honestly believe that the only way that we can have these attitudes, it's only through Christ, only through His strength. It doesn't come natural to us. It's got to be through Him. So when these things come up in your life, when you see your friend or you see somebody and they're getting something, I want you to take it to the cross, take it to Jesus Christ, and just be like, "Lord, I am really struggling with this. I'm really resenting that this person is getting this. I don't think that they deserve it. I think I much more deserve it." You see, what you have to do is you have to be totally open and honest with God and just bear it all before him. You're not going to fool him anyways. You know, why put on the mask? Just be open and honest and tell him what you're struggling with. When you do that, you are entrusting that thing to him, and you're going to automatically just rely on his strength to get you through that. And that's how you're going to get through that. So hopefully, you know, this video helps you out. I don't know if you're a person like me that actually struggles with envy. I think everybody pretty much does. But I just know from my own life, when I have struggled with envy and I have played that comparison game, I've been miserable. You don't have a lot of peace. You just don't like yourself that much. So I hope you can get past it through his strength. But if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumb it down and let me know what you don't like about it. If you do like it, though, I've got a whole playlist full of these life and faith videos. You can check it out. Click on this link right here. Or if you want to check out my previous video, the one where I kind of talked about how Christians don't respond in the best way with other Christians or with non-Christians, you can click on that link as well right there. But hopefully you guys like this. As always, take care and God bless.